Brian, we got a green screen and a theater. Let's make a movie.
In a dance troupe, let's fucking make a Christmas extravaganza and hide weird allusions to the Holocaust in it. It's Christmas Dreams! And it's the 2020 Good, Better, Bad Christmas special. Wait till we get there, Kyle. Wait till we get there. Prepare yourself. I'm not even joking about that. Wait till we fucking get there. I lost my mind, and I'm sure you didn't notice it.
I probably didn't. Was it the Nutcracker?
No, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay.
Hello, welcome back to the 119th episode of Good, Better, Bad, the show where we watch terrible movies and tell you if you should too. I'm your host, Mr. Brian Shilligo, joined as always by the other host who is mentally preparing himself to talk about this movie, Mr. Kyle Hinton. Kyle, 'tis the Christmas season. You're watching, this episode comes out, I believe, December 19th, so a week before Christmas or so. I don't remember how I found this movie. No, I do. I was looking through Tubi at Christmas movies.
Yes.
And this was one of the recommended, like, it was like in the bottom where it was like, oh, there are Christmas movies you could watch. And I saw Christmas Dreams and the cover looked weird and I clicked on it.
Boy, were you right.
And then I saw that it had K-Sorbs, Mr. Kevin Sorbo, Hercules himself doing the voiceover, clearly added after the fact.
Oh, well
and an attempt to rescue this project, and it made it worse. They tried to rescue it, and they made it way worse. This movie came out in 2015, and as you mentioned, this is a dance... I don't know if it's actually just a dance studio, but that's what it feels like.
I watched it, and as I kept going through it, it just felt more and more like a failed drama teacher's like fever dream.
Yes. Yeah. The guy who wrote or who directed it has directed a few other small, like really low budget, like feature films. He's like a film, but he's a director. But the guy who wrote and did the music for it, his name is, I have a note here at the end. His name is, it's like Tom Rapp or something like that. It says it at the end. I believe he may be a former Chippendales dancer. Because I looked up this guy and the first thing that came up for that name was a Chippendales dancer who had a documentary made about him as like, him being like the Chippendales dancer.
I was about to say, did he lose out to Patrick Swayze?
He was like the Chippendales dancer. And so that would at least kind of make sense that he had like a background in dance or so. I don't know. Anyways, so this movie opens up, and I can't stress enough how much of a fever dream nightmare acid trip this movie is. It's insanity.
It is almost entirely green screen.
Not almost. It is.
There's only one scene that's not green screen.
Which one?
That is the scene where the little girl wakes up because they had mirrors and shit, and you couldn't do green screen with that set.
Yes, but other than that, every set is a mixture of green screen and like props. Like they have like they set some of it, and then they have like a green screen sky basically, or background that they're compositing in. And which you can tell because we see some of the outtakes at the end of the movie. But I mean, you could tell anyways because it looks terrible. Yeah. It looks fucking terrible. It's very clear that it's bad CG. But so we open up and we fly into this Christmas town.
Yeah, and it looks a little bit like How the Grinch Stole Christmas.
Yes,
atmosphere.
The opening shot. It isn't terrible looking, and with the tree, they have like these trees that are popping up. They liked it so much they put it in the movie twice. We repeat the opening shot at the end of the movie for no reason.
No reason.
Well, the reason is this movie is an hour and 5 minutes long.
They had to pad it out,
and they had to pad out 15 minutes worth of outtakes and repeated shots and nonsense. So,
God, didn't they learn from Jezebel?
No. Do you think the same people made Jezebel made this movie, Kyle? You think this is the same production team? So we open up and we're flying over this, and all of us instantly Kevin Sorbo comes in narrating, and he's doing this weird sing-songy, like rhythmic talking.
Oh, yeah.
A place where one and all may go, with stars ablaze to light the ways above the midnight snow.
He's talking in time with the music, but he's not singing. He's just like,
oh, hell no. You think,
no. He does sing at one point.
You're not gonna get Hercules to sing.
He sings at the end of this fucking movie, Kyle.
Yeah.
He sings one line at the end of this fucking movie.
Christmas is for kids, and we all stay kids.
But he's singing. He's like, and this is a line that is the theme song of the movie, which is Christmas is for kids, and we all stay kids. Which is a weirdly written line, in my opinion. Christmas is for kids, and we all stay kids. Not like, and we're all kids at heart or something. We all stay kids. Sure. But so he goes, and that's me. He's like introducing the story, and he says, and there's me. And this guy opens the window, and it's clearly not Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah.
So, there I was in my laboratory, minding my own business, when, wham!
So they hired Kevin Sorbo after the fact to voice this character, this guy. I don't even know what he is. He's like the magical mad
Merlin.
scientist.
Merlin is what
Marlin. The actor's name at the end in the credits is just Marlin. It goes through the credits at the end and it's showing everybody, and it says like introducing Marlin, no last name.
Okay.
Yes, I don't know, man. I don't know, but this guy plays like 8 different characters over the course of this movie. He's like the
town eccentric.
Yeah, and he also like is. I guess he's like magic because he can he can turn into other characters and stuff. But he's like a mad scientist, and he throws magic snowballs at kids. Like the kid throws the little shithead kid who turns into the Rat King later on. This sounds like I'm losing my mind. This is what happens in this movie.
The Nutcracker.
It is the Nutcracker. What's that is a subtitle. It is Christmas Dreams, the Little Drummer Boy and the Nutcracker. Or something
I like how they have the Little Drummer Boy, which has like no relevance whatsoever.
No, the opening. So this movie's split into 2 stories. It is first the little boy story, whose name is David, and he's a drummer, and it's basically the Little Drummer Boy, but it's not real. It's just like that's kind of shoehorned into the last little bit of it, and then it's the Nutcracker.
Yeah, yep.
But like all of it on acid. I cannot stress that enough. And I love that the mad scientist in the voiceover talks about how he couldn't help but notice how into each other these 2 8-year-olds are.
That's Clara, Fritz's sister, and her schoolmate, David. As I went back to work, I couldn't help but notice how much those 2 kids liked each other.
And I was like, that's a weird thing to notice, old man. I don't know if you couldn't help but notice how much you think those 2 little kids want to get together. That's very strange of you.
Wait, do that again, Brad.
What?
That
get together.
There we go.
Get together. No, I'm not gonna. Nope. Scratch that. There's like a weird dance snowball fight. Everything. So that's what this movie is.
Everything's dance.
This is like a ballet.
Fritz continued to run after his sister, and soon others joined the fight.
Yeah.
It's like a modern ballet is what they're going for, where everything's dance, everything is to the time of the music. Like every action that happens with the music.
But today, he just couldn't resist doing his favorite thing in the whole wide world: drumming.
I think they realized I think originally it was just that, and then they're like, this doesn't make any sense. Nobody understands what's going on. Let's get Kevin Sorbo to talk over it. Big mistake, but we'll get there.
2 kids, 2 dreams, 2 hearts to give. A land where Christmas dreams unfold.
I was like, Kyle, do you think this is where Edgar Wright got the idea for Baby Driver? Everything happens. happens to the
Oh God, no.
to the music.
I will say this: this movie makes me appreciate because the only like song and dance like stuff that I enjoy in actual film is Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. But I think it obviously works there because Willy Wonka is a crazy like recluse who once they're in his factory, it's his domain of craziness.
Yeah, he's eccentric. Yeah, and that's what they're going for a little bit with this guy. He's kind of like a Willy Wonka type of character because he has a similar kind of lookish to him. At least when he's not doing brown face, which we'll get to. Oh my God, this movie. What happens? Oh, the kid he's on a little path and he starts popping and locking. And then these carolers show up and they're popping and locking. And everything, and it's all CG, it's all terrible.
Everybody in this town loves his drumming. They can't get enough of his drumming.
They can't get enough of this kid's
drumming. They can't get enough of his goddamn drumming, Brian!
Is this the origin story for Whiplash?
No, it's the origin story for you.
Whoa! What?
Because you're the little drummer boy, Brian.
That's true, I guess. So he's popping and locking, and there's also this weird shot where he's walking down his path, and there's like a tree composited in next to the road, but the scale is all off on it, and the tree is like tiny and looks so terrible. Anyways, but he gets home, and he wants to play his drum. He's sitting on his porch playing his drum, and I fucking love this scene. And then his dad, who's an angry, poor man, who's poor, his family's poor, and they can't pay bills, and he angrily crumples bills and throws them.
Comes out and destroys his fucking drum because of a dick.
Yes, before that, he's doing angry shovel dancing.
Shoveling, yes, yes.
Which is amazing. And he's like slamming it in time to the music and like jumping around and shoveling, and I love every second of it. But then, yes, he punches a hole in his drum.
Fuck your drum.
It's incredible. Punches a hole in his drum, and then we see the cycle continue. Now David angry shovel dances. Also, the set whoever built the sets here on the porch, they have like a little railing, and his dad goes over near the railing, and it looks like it's made out of cardboard. The whole thing like shakes and rattles. And I guess because he's poor, maybe it's supposed to be cheap or whatever. But
don't try to defend anything this movie does.
So then he storms up to his room to go take a nap because he's upset and sad that his drum is broken. And there's this weird poster on the door that says Parrot Beach, and I was like, "What the fuck is that?" Which we'll get.
I can't handle his fucking hat.
Well, then fine. Take it off then, Kyle. You can lose.
All right.
So now he goes to sleep, and the wizard guy, the scientist, transports him in his dream to the magical Christmas land place or whatever.
Where the only thing that's really different is he wakes up in a jacket for a band.
Like a drum, like a marching band jacket type of thing. And
Brian, did you do drumline back in the...
Yeah, all the way from middle school through college.
Now, were you like... Was it Nick Cannon who did drumline?
Yeah, the movie Drumline, yeah.
Yeah, were you Nick Cannon?
No. Well, yeah, no, I was the other guy, the villain in the movie. Or not the villain, but the guy. I was the drumline. I was like the section leader for most of my career in marching and drumline, so I was like the head guy. But I did play snare, so I was kind of, Nick Cannon plays snare. But yeah, I wore all the different... There are some pictures out there of me in some very embarrassing outfits somewhere, especially during winter drumline. During marching band, we wore like normal marching band costumes or outfits or whatever. But during winter drumline, we wore like more like artistic, like...
Oh, I was really hoping you were in like a fully like Christmas tree.
Oh, no.
And that your drums were like the ornament balls.
Oh yeah, no.
That looked pretty cool.
No, Winter Drumline was like indoor marching drumline competition. Anyways, but one of the years we did wear these velour, like crushed velvet, sleeveless shirts with black like spandex dance pants. I don't know if I have a picture, but it was back when I had really long hair too. And we had like one, so it was sleeveless. It was sleeveless on one side. It had a full sleeve on one side, sleeveless on one side, and then an armband like halfway down. It was the weird. What? There were like weird dance costumes. I don't know, dude. Winter Drumline was fucking wild. I'll see if I can find a picture. So anyways, he's now in this magical land and he runs into the musicians. And I love Kevin Sorbo's voiceover during this part because he's singing to the or he's talking to the music.
One played the flute.
And one of the lines is, the second had a trumpet to toot. And he's like, toot, 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 toot.
The second had a trumpet to toot.
He's like doing it to them. It's so fucking stupid. And I love too in this moment, they go through giving this kid every possible instrument and he fucking sucks at all of them.
Then gave David a try. But the sound of the strings made everyone cringe. Now the trumpeter asked David to blow. But wouldn't you know, the sound of the tone made everyone groan.
Except tambourine.
And then they give him a tambourine.
A tambourine might do the trick.
And I was like, you know, as a drummer, that's not correct. That's not accurate. That they try on everything else and they're like, all right, yeah, you can play drums. You suck.
Yep.
Oh, and then they see. This is a little moment that really annoyed me, though. Is
Not to rip too much on Fleetwood Mac, but I mean, shit, that's what they did with Stevie Nicks. She couldn't play anything.
Well, she could sing though.
Yeah, but if she's not the lead in a particular song, the fuck's she gonna do?
No, fair enough. But she could sing.
She does backups and uses a goddamn tambourine.
I will not have you badmouth Stevie Nicks on this fucking show. Then there's this line, though, in one of the things. It says, then he gave David a try, but the sound of the strings made everyone cringe.
Then gave David a try. But the sound of the strings made everyone cringe.
Not cry, Kyle. That would rhyme and that would work.
Yeah.
Cringe. That's not. Why would you? Oh my God. I hate everything about it. And there's also, so then they make their way into he's now the tambourine part of their gang, and they make their way into like the Christmas village proper or whatever. And there's also this weird thing this movie did where they did like subtle, quiet, voiced over ADR of like people talking, but we never hear any dialogue. There's no dialogue, but occasionally people will like say things and we'll hear like a real muffled, quiet, like, oh my, like. Why did we do that? It's a fucking weird choice. Then, Kyle, this is the scene that made me want to watch this movie when I was scrubbing through the first time. This is when the robots show up.
Yes. Yes. So the crazy scientist dude makes robots.
I waited for the crowd to gather. Then turned loose my robots.
Yeah.
And they're dancing robots.
And guess what kind of dance they do? The robot. But they're like CG. They look like they're right out of Tron or something.
Yes.
And they're like, they have like some sort of effect on them that make them like glow, like they're giving off electricity.
I'm not gonna lie, these robots for some dumb reason made me think of Dancing It's On to a degree.
Yes.
I think it's because of the pop locking.
Yeah, they're popping and locking and stuff. Yeah, very much. This does have Dancing It's On vibes.
This way, to my magical castle.
It's like the whole sort of production value.
Now, it doesn't have spinning helicopter kicks and explosions and stuff.
No.
have been a dancer.
Yeah, he must have been a dancer.
He must have been a dancer.
It does have a very strong feeling of like this was made by a dance studio. Like they funded this. Because that was my thought for this is clearly all like the rich parents of a bunch of kids in a dance studio in like Hollywood. Where like, we'll give them a bunch of money, they'll make a movie and our kids will be stars. Or whatever.
Wrong.
Yes.
Pennsylvania.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay, either way. Some bunch of rich parents at some dance studio somewhere. And I love this moment in the robot dance. It's all goofy. But whoever's decision this was, I love you, is the robots towards the end of the dance, they do this dance move where they like hip thrust. And every time they hip thrust, when their butts come back, electricity shoots out of their butts. And it's the stupidest looking thing. It looks like they're farting electricity, Kyle. And I don't know whose decision that was, but good job.
Nailed it.
I love it so much. And then this is where we're introduced to another character that the scientist is playing, which is his evil Chinese sorcerer character, which again is this white guy in a really terrible fake mustache and beard, which, all right, but then they put him in brown face.
But I had another trick up my sleeve.
They spray paint him.
Is it wrong whenever they started doing all like the Chinese themed Christmas stuff that my mind immediately went to a Christmas Story?
Oh yeah, that's a classic scene. But holy shit, why don't? Okay, great. Oh man. And why not just make that guy like a wizard? He's just make him a Chinese sorcerer. I don't understand. Okay. But then he alludes to this screen, and then there's a ballet in the sky. I don't know what this is. I don't know. None of this matters. None of the plot is coherent in any way. But now we're just watching some girl do ballet in the clouds, but in front of like a Windows screensaver for like 5 minutes. Yeah. Okay, great.
Oh, and this is where the level of After Effects was very, very limiting.
Yeah.
Because not to get too much in the woods, what I think they did was they put everything. They partied everything on a null layer and just moved it forward instead of progressively moving it, and it looks like shit.
It does look bad.
It looks like there's just one panel.
Yeah.
It's just.
Yeah,
that's it.
It does not look good. And then we had, then he gets pulled after the ballet. He gets pulled through a door by the musicians show up in mariachi costumes for some reason, and they pull him onto a beach. And this is the beach parrot beach thing. And there's like a beach Christmas party. And it's just a bunch of people in swimsuits dancing for 5 minutes.
David had never, ever been to a beach before, let alone a beach with a dancing parrot.
And none of this is...
And they had a dancing parrot. Brian.
There's a puppet.
They had a dancing parrot.
It's so weird. Whose idea was any of this? It's so fucking strange. And then they cut back to the Santa world or the Christmas world, and this is like they're seeing about how bad it is about the corporatization of Christmas.
Damn you, corporations! Ruining Christmas for everybody.
Christmas, and it's like
also. Here's a drum.
Also, buy our movie about Christmas, which was a clear cash grab attempt at a fucking shitty Christmas movie. So much of a blatant attempt at a cash grab that they hired Kevin Sorbo to try to put some name recognition on it. So yeah, it's this whole scene of everybody it's like speed metal Christmas music. It's not speed metal, but it's like metal Christmas music. And everybody's all angry and like grabbing presents. And they put this like terrible stock CG money falling down the front of the screen that I've literally seen on stock footage video asset websites before, that I've literally looked at and been like, that looks terrible, I'm not using that.
All you needed to do was go to like peopleofwalmart.com during Black Friday and put in that stuff.
That would have been a great, like, if they really wanted to like really slam home their message, they just like splice in a few frames here and there during this scene of people in real life fighting.
Yeah, people getting trampled to death.
Yeah. Very subtle messaging in this moment, though, because there's like people counting money and stuff. It's like, oh god, good job. And then we cut out to the outside the town, and he's like, there's got to be a more meaning to Christmas than this. And they cut to a shot of Santa, and this is so weird. It starts on Santa's head from behind, and the camera does a slow pedestal down Santa's entire body, including his ass, and I'm like, why are we staring at Santa's ass? It does a like a fucking Megan Fox in Transformers shot. What is happening? It's so weird. But then we see the manger. This is the, because he is the drummer boy. So we see the manger out in the field. And I don't remember what happens. Oh, he doesn't go there yet, though.
No.
At this point, he's like, no, I'm not going to go out there right now. And this is also a moment where I had this thought of like, Kyle, do you think anybody's ever intentionally watched this movie? Like, other than us? Like, do you think anybody... I like to imagine...
You know who watched it? The people who worked on it.
Fair enough. But I would like imagining that this movie is some family's like Christmas tradition. You know how like normal people like every year watch like a Muppet Christmas Carol or a Christmas Story or whatever, or Scrooged or something.
Bad Santa.
Or whatever. Imagine there's some people out there, like maybe the people who work on this movie, who every year put on Christmas dreams and they like all gather around for their favorite parts. They're like, guys, it's the robot dance part where they fart lightning. And they're like, I can't wait. Like that's a weird thing.
Like,
I like to imagine that there's somebody out there who watches Christmas dreams every year.
Do you think this guy had some... Do you think he actually had the idea that this was going to be the next Rudolph?
I think that they thought, that this could be like a big, like a Rudolph type of, or some, I don't know, I'm trying to think of what to even compare it to, because there's nothing really. It is like a ballet, so it would have to be like the Nutcracker or something. I mean, it is literally the Nutcracker in the second half, a poorly executed Nutcracker. Anyways. What? You all right?
The only thing that went through my head when you said a poorly executed Nutcracker was
Steven Seagal punching people in the nuts.
No, it was when you underpay for a hooker in a back alley.
I don't. Might just cut that part out. But David's sad. He misses Clara, which is the girl's name from the beginning, who gets the second half of this movie. And he sees the ghost of her do a ballerina dance. And then she disappears. And then there's trash everywhere. Yeah. And I thought this was going to be...
I couldn't tell if these kids were like hobos. Or like
they are.
Okay, these are almost...
They're street urchins, for sure. But at first, I thought it was just all this trash was... I thought this was the Fallout follow-up to the corporatism scene. And it was going to be like, oh, let's all come together and clean up and realize like the real spirit of Christmas. No, it's a bunch of kids with charcoal smeared on their faces to look like homeless, I guess. And they're all looking...
Haven't you ever seen Mary Poppins?
Yeah, as Oliver, yeah. and they're digging through the trash looking for food. And then again, the mad scientist guy shows up and is handing out food to these kids, and he has a drum and he gives it to David. And now David has a drum and he gets to go play it for baby Jesus, which I love. We go out to the manger, and for some reason they chose to just hang on still shots of every person in the manger scene.
I don't think those were still shots. I think those were they were instructed not to move.
Well, that's what I mean. Sorry, not still. Okay. They're not stills, but they are locked down shots of the people
not doing anything.
Yeah, just sitting. It's
And
so
then
weird.
you have David playing for Jesus, and of course, baby Jesus is a baby,
Yeah.
and it's just like goo goo gaga.
and then he moonwalks out of there. He fucking moonwalks out, puts out his arms like Michael Jackson, and his soul splits into 3 parts, and then he wakes up, and I was like, what the fuck just happened? He literally goes like this with his arms out, and then 2 other ghost versions of him come out, and then he wakes up, and I was like, what was that? Is that like the Trinity? Is that where what are we going for? I don't understand what was happening in that moment.
But he wakes up and Dad's like, "Hey, I'm sorry I was a dick and broke your drum. Here's a new one."
Yep.
His father carried a drum that looked remarkably like the drum in David's dream.
Yeah, his dad buys him a new drum, and that's the end of David's story. Oh, happy. Oh, I also thought it was weird that he has like a blanket made out of like animal hide in his. It's like,
They're
what,
poor, Brian.
what
all right,
year is this supposed to be? Like, when is this taking
they're
place?
poor.
So he has
okay?
a fucking blanket made out of a lion skin?
No. Their mom was catching rats that were in the
Sewing them
kitchen
together?
and sewing rat furs together.
Okay, that makes sense. That makes sense.
As David peered into his dream drum, another dream appeared.
I was like, what a sentence. What a fucking sentence. So then that's how we transition to Clara's story.
Yeah. Yep.
Which is the second half of this movie. Is Clara is, this is the Nutcracker. She's with her family and they're having a big party.
She also is perpetually in like dancing tutu.
Yeah, like tutus. Yeah, like, yeah. Because it's Nutcracker.
I understand that, but like the settings do not always fit.
No, it doesn't always make sense. And so they're having this Christmas party, but Fritz, her little brother's being a little fucking piece of shit.
Yep.
He's a little shithead.
It was Fritz.
I had a note here that I was like, here's hoping Fritz gets impaled like by an icicle like the lady in fucking Post Impact. And I was not too far off. Fritz fucking dies!
He absolutely
Eat shit,
dies.
Fritz! It's amazing. Oh, we'll get to it.
But she is gifted a Nutcracker.
Yeah.
If I ever got a Nutcracker that wasn't like a novelty gift for Christmas, if somebody literally gave me a Nutcracker for Christmas, I would look at it and say, I don't understand why you thought I would like this. Clearly, you and I do not have a solid relationship. And I think
Kyle, you're such a bad gift giver or getter.
gift receiver.
Yeah. You're not supposed to call people out for their fucking gifts. Don't you know it's the thought that counts, Kyle? You're going to be visited by 3 ghosts tonight.
I'm not gonna lie on this. There was a point in my life where if I ever got tube socks for Christmas, it would be the most insulting thing you could possibly give me. At the age of like 28 or something like that, that was all I wanted for Christmas was fucking tube socks. What happened, Brian?
You got old.
Why? Why is that a thing that you want when you get older? Tube socks.
Because you know socks are you know the importance of that age of a comfy pair of socks.
It's true.
And you never want to buy them. You want to spend your own money on things you like. That's the thing. Because then if somebody buys you a staple like a tube sock,
Yeah.
great. Now I don't have to spend my money on it. I can get what I want with my money.
Here's another question. If somebody bought you like a packaging of toilet paper or paper towels, would that be the same as them getting you tube socks?
In the year of our Lord 2020, getting a thing of toilet paper for Christmas is about the same.
Remove that year.
Yeah.
If somebody got you like just something out of necessity, like air fresheners for your car.
That would be a good stocking stuffer. I can see an air freshener being a good stocking stuffer, Kyle. Anyways.
That's enough of a deviation.
So they're having this party, and all their friends show up, and including David. But they dunk on David for being poor.
Being poor, but he's wearing a suit
wearing
just
a
like
suit.
everybody else.
Yeah.
Of course, there was one guest who could not afford a fancy tuxedo.
They're like, he didn't have a fancy tuxedo. He just had a nice suit. What? Okay,
What?
Great.
Also, if we were to believe that like their income was reflecting the house they lived in,
Yeah.
like utterly destitute.
Yeah, literally like
no
a shack.
insulation.
No,
it's a shack.
it's like a shack.
It's like there ain't no way in hell he's coming out in a suit.
No.
Parents aren't coming out in
No.
their evening wear.
No.
No.
Nah, not at all. He fucking sleeps under an animal skin blanket.
Do you realize that his mom was stitching those rat furs together for like weeks?
Her fingers are bloody. Stumps afterwards. But then Clara gets roofied and passes out on the couch.
What the fuck?
On a couch.
I think she got roofied. I don't know. She drinks something and then lays down.
She's drinking a champagne flute.
And then lays down and passes out. And I was like, they just roofied an 11-year-old, Kyle. What the fuck is going on? And then she has a crazy nightmare where the voiceover is like, now it's time for her dream. And then she wakes up and it's like everybody's staring at her and it's like this weird nightmare scenario thing that's going on.
I decided it was time for Clara's Christmas dream.
And then the scientist guy shows up, and as he walks through the room, everybody starts dancing with him, and it's so creepy and fucking weird.
Every guest, one by one, they came alive. Each in time. In time, everyone would see.
And then this is Kyle. We get the little girls from The Shining dance number.
Yes.
Why in your Christmas movie is there The Shining dance number? Great. Cool. Fantastic. And then after the Shining dance number, the narrator says her dreams were about to turn into a nightmare. I was like,
Clara's dream is about to turn into a nightmare.
what was the last 5 minutes when we watched the little girls from The Shining dance? I don't understand what's
Play with
going
us, Clara.
on. And then this is where Fritz turns into the Rat King.
Yep, and
They hot glued a bunch of fuzz to his face, and now he's a rat.
And then they fight over the Nutcracker because Fritz wants Nutcracker because he.
Yeah, Kevin Sorbo, well, not Kevin
Pecans? I
Sorbo,
don't know.
descends from on high in robes.
I could not just stand by.
No, Brian. We're from slightly different areas of the country. Slightly. Now I need to know. I need to know what the dividing line is. Pecan or pecan?
Pecan.
Okay. Pecan.
Okay. You're a sane person.
Yeah.
That's fine.
And then comment section.
The world shatters around them. The building they're in falls to pieces, CG pieces. There's a snowflake ballet, which is super boring. Don't care. Next. Moving on.
Knowing Clara was happy and safe, I left her in the land of the dancing snowflakes.
They get to an ice skating rink where there's musical instrument trees, which is super weird and trippy.
Yeah.
And then nothing matters there that happens that matters. Then I got to talk about this scene, the snake scene, Kyle. Got to talk about the snake scene.
What was this about?
Fritz scampered into a rat hole, and Clara, just her luck, got stuck.
So her rat brother runs into so I don't know if we mentioned it, but he broke and took the head off the Nutcracker. So she has the body, he has the head. He runs and dives into a hole and gets away, and then she dives in after him, but she can't get through the hole. And so now she's stuck in this hole watching.
Looking at a snake charmer type thing?
Which is a basket and then a body painted woman slinks out of it and sexy dances for 5 minutes. And I cannot stress enough that the movie plays this like Clara is having a sexual awakening watching this. She's like, they keep zooming into her eyes. Her eyes are like wide, and she's like, and the line even says,
Clara's eyes open wide, mesmerized by the snake dancer.
and she's like, I was like, what does this movie think they're doing with this scene? Because to me, it just looks like she's like realizing she's into this one. Like, it's so weird. It's such a weird moment. I really wasn't expecting a sexy dance in the middle of this.
Then Clara remembered Fritz and wondered where he might be hiding.
She watches it. She cannot get enough of that dance, but eventually she gets out of there when the snake gets put back in the basket or whatever. And then she almost gets stomped on by a bunch of Russian
Giants.
giant Russian dancers.
Yeah.
Then, Kyle, this is it. This is the moment I talked about earlier that we have to talk about. She ends up at the gates of a gingerbread something.
Yes. Okay, these gingerbread costumes they have come out.
Terrifying.
Yes. Not only that. They called up the whoever did the costume and stuff. So they were like, "Yes, I need 10 gingerbread men costume. Okay, they only come in Shrek."
Yeah.
All right, cool. Yes, 10 of them. We need 10 Shrek gingerbread men costumes.
Yeah. They're fucking terrifying. But here's the thing. I could talk about this scene for the rest of the fucking review. Okay. So at first he gets outside these gates, and I don't know if you noticed this, but to me I was like, is this like a prison? Because there are these candy cane poles, and then there's like strings of candy or lights running between them, and I was like, this looks like a prison or like a camp of some sort. And I was like, I'm getting very strange vibes from this whole thing. Because it doesn't look like a fort or something. It looks like a prison camp. And Kyle, prepare yourself. So they bring her into this camp and they walk through the front gates. And I'm not fucking joking. On top of the gates, heading into this place with the barbed wire candy cane fences, are the words candy equals freedom. And now if you're a history person, you know that the words printed over the gates to Auschwitz were work will set you free.
Yes.
Who decided to make a weird illusion?
Question: Do you think that if we took like a microscope down on the gingerbread men, like they had like numbers, frosty numbers in their arm?
I don't fucking know, but why on the earth would you make that reference in your weird Christmas movie? What the fuck? Candy equals freedom? I was blown away. I don't know who. I think there was some asshole on the fucking production design set who thought he was making a super funny joke or something and nobody caught it or what was going on.
It was somebody who was like wanting to make, I don't even know, because they're like, there's nothing, like, is it the Rat King who rules in this area?
No, and here's the thing,
Are the gingerbread men the Nazis?
I don't know, because they go in there and they're just hanging out and then the Rat King attacks.
Did you see like an SS Frosty on there?
I don't know, man. It's so fucking weird. There's no allegory that even can apply to it. I'm not even sure what.
Because like we have the gingerbread house and that was Hansel and Gretel. That's pretty German.
Yeah. Dude, I don't know. The Rat King attacks and they just rip the walls down. And I was like, so wait, is the Rat King
He's liberating them.
allies?
He's liberating
What's going on? I don't understand. None of this makes any sense.
But they get into a fight.
Yeah.
And then Clara just kills Fran.
She fucking murders Fritz.
When finally, Clara puts an end to the battle.
Fucking murders him.
Fritz, whatever.
Fritz? That's a pretty German sounding name.
Yeah,
That's all.
just saying. But she murders the shit out of him.
Yeah, she fucking murders him. And I love, then the Sugar Plum Fairy shows up and revives all the dead ginger men who are scattered around. But then gets to Fritz and is like,
No.
eat shit.
They remove his rat likeness.
Yeah.
But then he's just
He's
dead.
still dead. He just disappears. And I was like, holy shit, they fucking murdered Fritz. Good job, movie. Fucking good job.
The Sugar Plum Fairy gave Clara the Nutcracker head to make the restoration complete.
Then the Nutcracker, they reunite the head with the body, and it turns into a fucking terrifying human Nutcracker.
Yes.
And they walk through a portal into a magic fairy, like a magic meadowland.
Yeah.
That's like eternally spring or whatever. And again, the CG is so, they're laying on the grass and it's all, everything is CG. It looks so bad. And then he pulls off his Nutcracker head and it's David.
Yes.
2 kids, 2 dreams, 2 hearts to give.
I don't understand anything that's going on in this movie, Kyle. I don't get any of it. But then they get back to the house. They like, I guess, leave the dream world. They show back up at her house, and I love he gives her his drum and she gives him the Nutcracker. I was like, but she can't play drums. What's she gonna do with the drum?
Yeah.
You're the drummer. What a terrible idea.
The Nutcracker will at least be useful to his family.
His poor
Since
family.
they're so poor
Yes.
that they're just going to be collecting nuts for the winter, much like squirrels.
Yes. They're squirrel people, essentially. And yeah, now he's got a useful nut, but now what's she gonna do with the drum? Whatever. He could have fucking taken that drum to the subway and made some money for the family. Oh, then they start singing the Christmas song that they wrote. Christmas is for
God.
kids, and we're all kids. And K Sorbs starts singing, and it's terrible.
Christmas is for kids, and we all stay kids.
He's also talking over the lyrics as the lyrics are being sung.
Let December bring the boy you once knew. Remember her? The girl you outgrew?
Why? Why would you have a narrator talk over the
Such a
lyrics in a
fever
song?
dream.
So bring on the Christmas songs, carols and sing-alongs. Bring on the kid that the years hid away.
Then Steve Jobs shows up to take all their pictures. I don't know if you noticed, the guy who's the photographer is literally dressed like Steve Jobs for some reason. I don't know why.
Black turtleneck and
Yeah.
jeans.
Yeah. And then the movie ends. And then we get outtakes.
Action.
Which aren't outtakes. Again,
No.
we've talked about this before. If your outtakes are this unfunny, delete your movie.
They're
It's-
not outtakes.
And action.
The
not
only thing
outtakes.
that almost classifies is when the magician guy tries to do a trick
and
it fails.
drops it or whatever. Yeah. The rest of them are just people doing their scenes.
Yeah.
But like without the CG completed. Like it's just like a green screen and stuff.
And action.
And there's one shot of the girl like running and they still left the green screen in and I was like, oh no. Now I'm gonna have to put weird shit behind it. I'm gonna have to edit some weird shit into the background of her running away.
Schindler's List.
Oh God, no. Jesus Christ.
Hi, this is Neil Breen.
Is Mary, my wife.
And then the last one is the scientist guy eating a gingerbread cookie, and they add the grossest,
Nom nom
weirdest
nom nom nom
eating
nom.
sounds over it. It's all fucking insane. And then it freeze frames on him. All of this is just nonsense. And they realized they still didn't have enough time to fill, so they bought a stock CG Christmas tree asset and put still frames from the movie in it, and that runs for like 5 minutes, and then that ends, and then they still didn't have enough time, so then they go to the credits, and it's just shots of people dancing at the party for 5 minutes, while the credits, there's like 20 minutes of credits, because this movie is an hour long. The last note I had, I saw this review on IMDb, and I thought it was funny. This person wrote, I only wish there was a version of this without the narration, which is bland and almost instructive sounding, and not at all in the same aesthetic of the presentation. But the look, the music, and the choreography are spectacular. It's like, get dunked on, K-Sorbs. This person loved everything but you in this movie. I don't know. This movie... I'm gonna say bad, but great bad moments. I don't know. Here's the thing. The problem is that it needs to have. It's only an hour long, and it still needs 20 minutes cut because there's like a couple dance numbers that are just kind of boring and fine, like the ballet and stuff. Just get rid of those. But the other stuff, I
am definitely gonna go bad because it was fucking boring to me.
There is a lot of boring. I completely agree that there's too many parts that are boring, but some of the decisions are so fucking weird that I couldn't get over them, and I was just astounded by this film.
I guarantee what's gonna happen if the person who made this like was coming up. It's like, what do you mean it's boring? There's people dancing and stuff. Dancing without purpose is fucking boring.
Well, and it's not even that. It's like. Yeah, well, and in a way that, I can watch a dance that, even without a purpose, that if it is good and interesting, and the dancing's fine. Like, none of them are bad dancers or anything.
Like, the beach one, completely pointless.
Yeah. Pointless, and that one also is just not particularly interesting dancing. Like, it's one thing, like the ballet one that was also completely pointless, like the Snowflake Ballet was pointless, but at least it was kind of like, oh, they're good ballet dancers or whatever. Like, I can appreciate that. But I will say, in the context of a movie like this, those dance scenes that don't add anything to the story remotely do make you go, okay, let's go. Can we get to something?
At least if I know
matters?
there's a dance number in Willy Wonka, some kid's gonna get sucked down a tube.
As always, you can support us on patreon.com/GBorBB. I have a podcast called This Film Is It, where we talk about movies that are based on books. When this episode's out, recent episode will be our Christmas episode, which I believe this year is The Polar Express. I think, pretty sure. So yes, that's what that is. Kyle, you got a movie?
Yep. Interviewing Monsters and Bigfoot. Whoa, Tom Green, Les Stroud. Description below. You can watch it on various stuff. It'll eventually come out as a DVD.
There you go. You can also follow us on Twitch, twitch.tv/GBorBB_Brian, GBorBB_Kyle. We stream occasionally on there. And Kyle, I think that's it. Just keep watching movies.
No.
Watch it. Make it your Christmas tradition.
No.
All gather around, drink some eggnog, and get excited for the butt robot electric farts.
And
the sexy snake scene.
And the Auschwitz reference.
What the fuck?